Small garden refresh, cottagecore and classic farmhouse touch for a dreamy escape. Transform your outdoor space into a cozy cottagecore retreat with a small garden refresh that blends vintage beauty, rustic charm, and a classic farmhouse touch. Whether you have a tiny backyard, a quaint patio, or a charming balcony garden, incorporating natural elements, antique-inspired decor, and DIY inspiration can turn any space into a dreamy escape. Imagine lush greenery, charming upcycled furniture, and rustic wooden accents creating a refreshing and inviting atmosphere. By adding cozy outdoor seating, cottage-style flower beds, and charming vintage lighting, you can achieve a picturesque countryside garden right at home. With a focus on decorating and upcycling, this guide will inspire you to embrace cottagecore beauty while enhancing your garden with natural textures and timeless farmhouse aesthetics. From rustic trellises wrapped in climbing roses to antique bird baths that attract wildlife, every detail adds a touch of nostalgia and warmth. Whether you're a fan of DIY projects or love collecting antique garden pieces, refreshing your garden with a classic farmhouse touch will create a serene and cozy oasis to unwind and enjoy nature.
Welcome to Home Touch for innovative and stylish home design inspiration. Cozy cottagecore garden,
a charming retreat with rustic beauty. Transform your small garden into a cozy cottagecore sanctuary filled with charming vintage aesthetics and rustic beauty. Use antique-inspired decorations, such as old wooden crates, vintage watering cans, and wrought iron lanterns, to create a classic farmhouse touch. The key to achieving this dreamy escape lies in DIY inspiration. Upcycle old furniture into natural plant stands or repurpose weathered wooden doors as garden backdrops. Adding a small garden refresh can be as simple as incorporating more natural elements, like climbing ivy, wildflowers, and stone pathways. Consider decorating with upcycled items, such as mason jar lanterns or a vintage-style wooden bench. This not only enhances the rustic charm, but also makes your outdoor space feel cozy and inviting. With the right mix of DIY inspiration and antique accents, your garden will become a peaceful countryside haven where you can unwind. Vintage-inspired garden seating, creating a cozy rustic escape. A cottagecore garden isn't complete without charming vintage seating that blends comfort and classic farmhouse touch. Think of rustic wooden benches, wrought iron chairs, or a cozy antique-inspired swing. Upcycling old furniture into garden seating is a great way to incorporate DIY inspiration while maintaining an eco-friendly approach. To achieve a small garden refresh, enhance your seating area with natural elements, such as climbing roses, cozy cushions in floral prints, and delicate lace tablecloths. Adding a rustic wooden pergola covered in ivy or fairy lights creates a magical escape. With thoughtful decorating and upcycling, your garden will exude vintage beauty, making it the perfect retreat for relaxing afternoons. Antique bird baths and water features a refreshing cottagecore element. Adding a vintage bird bath or a rustic water fountain brings a natural and refreshing element to your cottagecore garden. Look for antique-inspired designs with classic farmhouse touch, such as weathered stone, wrought iron, or distressed ceramic. These pieces add a sense of charming nostalgia while inviting birds and butterflies to your garden. For an extra cozy feel, surround the water feature with lush greenery, lavender, and wildflowers. Upcycling an old metal tub or ceramic bowl into a DIY bird bath is an easy way to integrate decorating and sustainability. Whether it's a small fountain tucked in a corner or a charming pond with floating flowers, adding water elements transforms your space into a refreshing and dreamy retreat. Rustic garden paths, a natural way to enhance your outdoor space. A small garden refresh can be as simple as designing a cozy rustic path using natural materials. Charming vintage stepping stones, reclaimed bricks, or antique cobblestones create a classic farmhouse touch that enhances your garden's aesthetic. For a cottagecore charm, allow wild moss and small flowers to grow between the stones, adding to the rustic beauty. DIY inspiration comes into play by upcycling wood slices or using repurposed bricks from old buildings. This small change can completely refresh your garden, making it feel timeless and inviting. Upcycled garden decor, DIY inspiration for a charming vintage look. Turn antique finds into charming garden decor by repurposing vintage ladders, distressed wooden crates, and wrought iron trellises. This classic farmhouse touch adds character to your space while embracing sustainability. For a cozy and natural ambience, arrange upcycled items as plant shelves, candle holders, or fairy light displays. Decorating with rustic charm makes your garden a dreamy escape, blending creativity with cottagecore beauty. Cottagecore flower beds, a natural and refreshing blooming paradise. A small garden refresh isn't complete without a charming flower bed filled with vintage beauty. Choose natural wildflowers, pastel roses, and fragrant lavender for a cozy cottagecore aesthetic. For a classic farmhouse touch, use DIY inspiration to build rustic wooden planters or repurpose antique watering cans into flower containers. Decorating with upcycled materials adds a personal touch while keeping your space eco-friendly and full of charm. Cozy vintage lighting, a rustic glow for evenings in the garden. Transform your garden into a charming nighttime retreat by incorporating antique-inspired lanterns, fairy lights, and rustic candle holders. Soft, warm lighting enhances the cozy atmosphere while adding a classic farmhouse touch. For DIY inspiration, consider upcycling old mason jars into lanterns or using vintage chandeliers as an outdoor focal point. A well-lit garden creates a refreshing escape, perfect for relaxing under the stars in your beautifully curated cottagecore paradise. Charming DIY trellis, a classic farmhouse touch for climbing plants. A natural garden refresh starts with adding climbing roses, ivy, or wisteria to a rustic DIY trellis. Use upcycled wood, antique iron, or weathered ladders to create a vintage-inspired vertical garden. This cozy cottagecore touch adds charm and beauty while maximizing space in a small garden. Whether freestanding or attached to a wall, A decorative trellis brings an element of old-world elegance to your outdoor sanctuary. Rustic potting station, a cozy nook for gardening bliss. A charming potting station makes gardening easier while adding a classic farmhouse touch. Use vintage wooden tables, antique crates, or upcycled shelves to create a cozy workspace for tending plants and arranging flowers. For an extra natural charm, decorate with rustic tools, woven baskets, and repurposed ceramic pots. This DIY inspiration not only enhances functionality but also turns your garden into a peaceful and inviting retreat. Antique fencing and garden gates, a storybook cottagecore entrance. A rustic wooden fence or antique wrought iron gate can completely transform the entrance to your small garden retreat. Look for vintage beauty in reclaimed materials, distressed wood, or classic farmhouse-inspired designs. For a cozy and welcoming feel, add climbing vines, floral wreaths, or an upcycled sign with hand-painted lettering. This cottagecore decorating idea creates an enchanting, dreamy escape, making your garden feel like a hidden fairy tale sanctuary. Conclusion. Refreshing your small garden with cottagecore beauty and a classic farmhouse touch is a simple yet rewarding way to create a cozy, vintage-inspired retreat. By incorporating natural elements, antique decor, and DIY inspiration, you can transform any outdoor space into a charming and rustic oasis. Whether you choose to add upcycled furniture, rustic trellises, or vintage-inspired flower beds, every detail enhances the refreshing and inviting ambience of your garden. With a blend of decorating and upcycling, you can achieve a picturesque countryside aesthetic that feels both timeless and enchanting. Embracing cottagecore charm in your garden isn't just about aesthetics, it's about creating a peaceful escape where you can relax and connect with nature. From cozy seating areas adorned with floral cushions to antique bird baths and fairy-lit pergolas, your garden can become a true dreamy retreat. No matter the size of your space, adding rustic accents and natural beauty will bring warmth, serenity, and a touch of nostalgia. Start your small garden refresh today and enjoy a cozy, vintage-inspired sanctuary right in your backyard.